Let's talk about this 2+1 formula that I mention all the time, leveraging the power of OPA, other people's audiences. 2 interviews a week plus 1 press release a month puts you on 100 stages, right? Gives you 100 interviews, 100 audiences of folks who've never even heard of you. And let's do some math here, right? Let's just say, right, that on every interview, you had just 10 people who opted in. Right? That's 1,000 new people on your list, right? In your media database. And these aren't people you bought. These aren't looky-loos. These are true, I heard you, I liked you, and I opted in to what you were giving away. These are qualified leads. 1,000 qualified leads right there. You don't need millions. Think about your products and services. Right? How many clients are you looking for to buy your stuff this year? I mean, you could do a lot, and that's just with 10. If there were 25 on all of these stages, it's 2,500, right? You can start to do the math. You can impact hundreds, thousands, hundreds of thousands, even millions with the power of a media interview. I remember I was in a leads group, right, where we would go every single week. The same 30 people would meet in this leads group. I did this leads group for 6 years. Now, I will tell you, we built the most rock solid of relationships. We went through everything together, right? Weddings, childbirths, deaths, illnesses, divorces, right? We were a strong unity. There were 30 of us, a couple of people in and out, right? But the core of it over those 6 years. Love leads groups for building relationships. Right? Or maybe you're doing one-on-one coffee meetings, right? Where you're, hey, let's have a discovery call and let's be referral partners and affiliate partners for each other. The challenge with that is it is slow and painful. If that is how you're creating visibility, well, you're not, right? That's engagement, right? You've created a little community book club, right? Where you get together and rah-rah and hug each other and la-la, right? Every week. True visibility, true exposure is when you are getting in front of a brand new audience, people who have never heard of you. They haven't heard of you yet. That's the power of exposure and being discovered. 2 interviews a week, that's exposure. Not engagement is they've already heard of you, they're already following you, we're already meeting, you're on my email newsletter list, right? You're in my database, you've already heard of me, and now when I follow up and I post something, that's engagement. That's where we're going to move them from lead, right, into our sales funnel. So how do we get the traffic, right? The traffic, the exposure, that's the 2 interviews a week, 100 stages a year. Now, of course, media is like a faucet. Turn it up, turn it down. You want more? Do 3, do 4. Christine, right? At one point last year, she says, I'm going to do 10 interviews a week, Angel. Burnt herself out, right? Now, if you're doing a book launch, you just promoted or published your book and you're doing your bestseller campaign and you're speaking every single day, right? You want to do 12 interviews, right? In a month, right? Or whatever it is, turn it up to create that energy and excitement. You control the flow. But in general, just copacetic, 2 interviews a week, 1 press release a month keeps the flow. Enough people coming into your sales castle, you get some opt-ins, they're buying your low ticket offer, right? 2 interviews a week. Imagine you had 25 people buying your book during those interviews. That's 200 book sales. That's $5,000 in sales. Right? That'll keep, grease the engines, right? You can, think about #fund the life. So often when we look at something we want to purchase or invest in, coaching, new software, upgrades, new team members, inventory, we look at our budget and think, oh, I don't have it, right? But imagine if you were doing 2 interviews a week that were leading to a low ticket offer or a book sale, and you could create an extra $5,000 in sales and revenue. Well, now we've got some wiggle room. We got some slush fund, right? I can hire that new team member. I can go get those headshots. I can hire that coach. I can pay for that coaching program. I can upgrade my technology because I've hashtag fund the life. Where do you fund it? With media interviews, 2 interviews a week, 1 press release a month. So I want you to start keeping track of all of your media in one place, a media tracker, right? This can be an Excel spreadsheet, right? A Word document, you do you, right? But I want you to keep track every single week, 2 interviews a week in your calendar. Maybe this is a color, right? If you do color blocking, I want to see the color of your interviews so you can look back at your calendar and, right, you can track your exposure in the bank, at the bank. And if you're like, okay, we're not getting enough leads, we're not getting enough, traffic, well, I can look back at the last 90 days at my calendar and say, oh yeah, I didn't do hardly any interviews at all, right? Or I can look and go, okay, we're getting a ton, right? Where are they coming from? Oh, that podcast that I pre-recorded a month ago just dropped this week. And now all of a sudden I can see the opt-ins coming in because I'm duplicating myself. And so on those weeks, right, as we're priming the pump and we're getting ourselves up to 2 interviews a week, we can take an old recording, an old feature. Here's my magazine article. Here's a podcast I did a year ago or 3 months ago. Here's a TV interview. Here's a feature I did. And I can post that and share that on my social media so that, right, because your interviews are pretty evergreen. The 3 things that you're teaching, you can use over and over again. But now people are like, oh, look, like she's speaking again. He's being featured somewhere. Even if it isn't necessarily this week, use it to boost your 2 interviews a week, right? Send it to your followers, post it on social, on all your social sites, and share your juicy goodness everywhere. So we need, what is your media interview headline? Okay, your juicy topic, your headline that you're going to pitch to the media. And of course, I have like 52 of them I'm going to send to you that you have access to. And you can change it up, you can tweak it seasonally until you get one that's really sticky that you just land on. You can try a couple of them on for size. And then think about your next press release headline. Extra, read all about it, right? What is your news? What are you celebrating? What is your announcement? You've set up a pretty big goal for yourself this year. And think about that it's the end of the year and you hit that goal. That's your headline, right? Angel Tuccy, international superstar, right? Angel Tuccy, top media coach, right? Named Forbes top media coach, right? In the US, right? What is your headline? Like, what is your goal that you're setting for yourself? And that's a headline. And now baby step that back. You have to hit some milestones in order to hit that main headline, right? So I remember telling somebody one time I wanted to be one of the top radio show hosts. I wanted to win the National Broadcasters Association for best radio show. And she said, well, Angel, have you even done the Colorado, right? The local Broadcasters Association. Have you won that yet? I'm like, no, I didn't even know there was. So of course, signed up to be a member of the Colorado Broadcasters Association. And the next year, I was second place of top radio show, right? Like, dude, or best talk show team, right? Second place for best talk show team in my first year running. So, I mean, this is pretty exciting stuff, right? So think about what your main headline is. And now let's baby step. What are the baby steps, right? I'm publishing a book. I'm launching a course. I'm speaking on stages. I'm collaborating with a nonprofit. Every single one of those gets to be a headline. I want you to put out a press release every single month and pitch it to your media database. You have your wish list, right? You created your database, your wish list. What are we sending them every month? Your press release, right? Keep them in the loop of what's going on, right? And with that press release, you can end up getting a news feature on you. They might call you in. They might set up a quote. They might send out a news crew, or at the very least, they'll share your press release on their news station, on their news site. And then you get to have those coveted logos as seen on ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox. So every single month, right? Keep track of those 2 interviews a week, right? We've got 100 of them over the course of the year and 1 press release a month. Those are your marching orders. So over the next 90 days, we're building up our media database. We're creating our media assets, our media one sheet, our media story, putting that into our pitch, and we're doing our press release every single month. You can start to see your strategy really starting to come together.